thank you very much for coming in.
Pleasure.
Really appreciate it. And I just wanted to dive straight into the why, really. Why you decided to move home first and foremost.
It's always been the plan. We've always wanted to move out of Reading and move into the countryside. We just met one another at the wrong time, and David had already bought a house. So that's the only reason, really. And we've got a dog, and we're getting to the point now where we want to kind of move on to something a little bit quieter.
Yeah, it makes it, a lot of people did that around the sort of lockdown period. Everyone kind of went, no longer do I need to be near a train station, I want to be near a national park. And it's sort of, we saw that theme and that trend, but you've done it a couple of years later on.
We planned to do it before. That was always going to be the plan back into 2017. And then the pandemic hit, and everything that we were looking at went up by about 200 grand. So we had to widen the net of where we were going to live because of that very reason. But yeah, and it has made a massive difference because Wi-Fi's better and connections are better. I mean, you're allowed to work from home a little bit more, and there's a lot more leeway on your work-life balance. So it's been perfect, really.
Yeah, it's nice, I think, the way that things have evolved since then. Were there any kind of big concerns or worries you had about moving home? Because it's well renowned in the UK as the third most stressful thing that you can do. So is there anything that you were a bit like, oh God, we're going to have to deal with this?
I think mainly moving all of our stuff, because our street is incredibly narrow. And we have things get blocked. We've had a fire engine get stuck.
Right.
So moving we've thought, oh gosh, getting that done. And then also estate agents. We were a bit kind of, oh God, that could be a minefield. Mm-hmm. Thankfully it wasn't, though.
Thankfully it wasn't. We'll get on to that. I mean, stereotypically, estate agents are quite renowned for, sort of cheeky chaps in suits that kind of come in and give you the sales pitter-patter. Was that the bit that you were worried about, or is there something else?
I think it was more that I was worried we weren't going to deal with the same person twice.
Okay.
And having the hassle of constantly chasing someone. Mm-hmm. And when you're working, and we both got quite stressful jobs, or jobs that demand a lot of our attention a lot of the time, mm-hmm. You're doing it outside of work a lot of the time. And so it's constantly you're on the back foot chasing.
Yeah.
I was worried about that. And I was a little bit concerned about you get the salesman, don't you? You get the kind of the big pitch, and you get the guy that comes around and goes, oh yeah, I can do this. I can do that. Yeah. And then you get an 18-year-old coming around on Tinder doing the viewings, and you're thinking, oh, good God. That's what we were most concerned about, just the stress of that. And being BS'd, I suppose, is the worst part.
I think it's common. I think a lot of people, I've done the job now for 21 years, and a lot of people are worried about that. But in the main, you're talking about communication, I guess, which has been the number one complaint in our industry for over 20 years now. And it's no surprise that kind of Chinese whispers of dealing with different people, that happens. But I think what you're talking about there, about having to do the legal work and the chasing and getting feedback, and if the property's not sold, why is it not sold? If it is sold, what's going on with the legals and the mortgages, and what's my buyer saying? Those types of things are really hard to do inside that 9 till 5, 9 till 6 window where estate agents work. And then outside of it, you end up just kind of almost playing telephone tag.
Yeah, that 100%, all of that. And because we've got our jobs are so stressful that you get those moments when you can ping, or you can, or you feel like you're on this loop, and there's two of us. We don't work. We sometimes work from the office or at home. And have you seen this? Have you heard from them? And that constant chasing. It's either that, or you've got somebody. I was really worried that I was going to get someone who was just a little bit overzealous and would be phoning me 24/7.
Yeah,
I can't physically get to the phone and do stuff because I'm in meetings or whatever. I didn't want to be constantly being chased. So it's that lovely getting that balance right of just the right amount of information. I just want the information I need to know about. I don't need to be constantly contacted.
Yeah. But
it is great to have kind of feedback regularly of what's happening and all that kind of stuff. That bit of communication is amazing. And it's just the smarminess of estate agents. Sometimes they can just be a little bit old-fashioned. Yeah. And it's a bit like, we know what we're selling. We're not selling Buckingham Palace. We're selling this. Yeah. We're selling this little terrace house. We know what it is about. So yeah, I think that is the most important thing, was the communication. That's what I was worried about. And just this last little bit of solicitors, buyers, sellers, and just coordinating all of that.
There's a lot to knit together, actually.
I mean, it's like, I don't think I can think of it. It's like the film with Tom Cruise where he's trying to grab all these different things and he's throwing it up onto the boards. It's like getting all the same things in the same room at the same time. It's hard work.
Yeah.
And you need people who are really switched on, otherwise it just goes all over the shop.
I've never heard someone, I think, is it a Minority Report, where he's kind of pulling them all in this like kind of AI screen. We need one of those actually in our industry, but we don't have one. And as a result, you find the email chains and text. But that's what I love about WhatsApp is kind of what you were talking about there with someone that's a bit over the top with communication. My dad's a prime example. If he rings me 3 times in a row, it's like, I'll ring you back when I'm ready. Yeah. But on a WhatsApp, you can leave a voice note or you can leave a message. And if you're in a group, different people can pick up the information at different times, which works quite well. Which takes me on to kind of Georgina. What was the reason that you decided, you know, Avocado and Georgina was potentially going to be the right fit for you?
We'd spotted an advert Avocado had on Rightmove, a listing that was 1 street over from us. And it was years before we were thinking about putting on the market. But I used to look most weekends. Mm-hmm. And we'd always try and pitch to see how much we thought our place could be worth. And the whole listing was elevated compared to everything else that I'd seen. Okay. And then as we were coming to the point where we were going to start moving, I saw Avocado popping up quite a lot. And it's just everything about the listings are elevated. Because you only get 6 seconds before someone swipes past. So you've got to make that 6 seconds work for you. Yeah. And everything that Avocado had done it sold it straight away. But it was clever stuff. Like there was one property you had and they had the floor plan and then they had the floor plan of what it could look like. So you kind of were like, wow, actually this house doesn't work, but now it does work. And you could see, but it wasn't just that, it was the videos, it was the pictures, but it was also selling the area, the lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And that's what sold it for me. But it was trying to get my partner over the line with it because he was a bit like, oh, well, I think we ought to see kind of at least 3 other people. Yeah. And he said that. Georgina and Sarah arrived and the door shut and he said, well, I think we'll go with them then, shall we?
That's brilliant. That's great to hear because a lot of the blueprint and the launch plan was how do we uplift, like you said, the actual like property marketing part of the industry. Because we talk about the stereotype, but actually marketing in an estate agency hasn't really moved on much from a couple of photos and a floor plan really. So it's nice to know that you saw those videos and that helped with a little bit of trust building. And I'm sure your property, from what Georgina tells me, was lovely inside. And when you get that, the video and the nice house, you put them together, that's how a buyer is going to effectively want to potentially buy it and definitely look at it really. So that helps too. What was the service like in terms of the communication, which was your worry? You know, that's important because Georgina and Sarah own their own company. They're kind of freelance agents within the Avocado brand, but were you able to speak to them outside of normal hours?
Oh, 100%. In fact, what's one of the things that sold us, because we do kind of 8 till 7 sometimes day, and they told us from the get-go, we love their values. This is our own business. We're both working mums, so we won't be able to, there's certain points of the day that we won't be able to contact you back. That was one of the first things they told us. Yeah. And I loved that because I thought, great, I know I'm not going to contact you between those times. And I know you've got kids, so I won't contact you during those periods. But we'd be messaging each other at the same time. So we knew from the get-go, immediately. And they were just both of them. It was like the polar opposite of everything that you'd have as a normal estate agent. It was like having 2 people just come round, have a look at your house and tell you, okay, we can do this. And they were really honest from the get-go, really honest. And they pitched their property at the price that we were kind of like, we thought we would hope to get more. And then looked online a couple of days later, came back and said, actually, do you know what? We've looked around and we think we can get this amount, which was slightly higher than what they had already told us. But as soon as we said we'd like to go with them, which was about 2 hours later, we had a WhatsApp group, we were chatting. We're thinking about doing this, we'd like to do the video on this day. And it even right down to they were watching the weather so they could get the drone shot right, and just everything felt, I instantly trusted them. And brilliant. We gave our key to Georgina almost immediately. Like it was, I had total confidence that I could just say, look, whenever you need to come round, we'll be gone. It
sounds like you felt quite relaxed about the whole process.
They looked around the house, and by the time they finished looking around the house, we sat down, and I was instantly relaxed.
Love that. And in terms of your involvement in the marketing, and talk about the drone, did you write the seller's comment yourself? Or did your partner do that?
No, I wrote one. I think we amalgamated them because I wrote one, he wrote the other, and then we kind of amalgamated them. But we kind of, they'd asked us what we thought of the area, and we'd seen the video, because you kind of sell the area as well. So in the video, it's not just the house that you walk through and go, because some of the videos that people do online, especially the kind of estate agents that do the kind of clunky, this is a hallway and this is a dining room, and you get like shots of a door opening. This one just glides through the house. It's all obvious. And then they do this really lovely bit where they say there's restaurants and bars and all that kind of stuff. So it's selling the area as well.
That's a big part of it, though, isn't it? Is all of that combined. And then probably what Georgina and Sarah managed to get from your scripts, if you like, or your kind of sellers' comments, is they're able to then take a little bit of that and use it in the video. So it all kind of links together. Is there anything that happened in the transaction or in the whole process which you were like, oh, I didn't expect that, or in a good or a bad way? Or was there anything that, from a feedback point of view, that you could help us with?
No, I have to, hand on heart, say both Georgina and Sarah were amazing. Georgina, though, has been incredible. We had a nightmare with our buyers using a really, really bad solicitor, horrendously bad solicitor, based in Singapore or Malaysia or somewhere ridiculous. And they've been dragging their heels and making just stupid mistakes. And the day that we were supposed to exchange, they just went quiet on us. And our solicitor was waiting, we were waiting, the buyer was waiting. And Georgina had sent us a picture of how she was phoning them every hour on the hour to find out what was going on.
Yep.
She was relentless. And at the end of the day, when it was all signed, sealed and delivered, I just thought, my God, she really had a busy day anyway, and she really went the extra mile to just get that over the line. So she's not a step wrong as far as I'm concerned all the way along. And at that point, I just thought, thank God we went with her. Thank God.
That was the difference. That was that little bit of difference that we both got it through.
On Friday night, when we were toasting with a glass of champagne, I just went, thank God we had Georgina and our solicitor, who's both been amazing. But Georgina just being relentless. Because if we'd have got an estate agent who just handed it to somebody in the office who's like, oh, it's not going to happen today, guys, and just put the phone down. But she just kept on and on and on and on. And I thought, thank God we got her. I don't know I don't think we'd have exchanged if it wasn't for Georgina.
Well, she's going to enjoy watching that part of it. I mean, cheers. Cheers, Georgina. I mean, it is for her, you know, like you mentioned, being a mum, she's trying to make her kids proud and growing something and build something. But it just means that bit more because it's her company, I think. It just means that little bit extra to make sure that no stone is left unturned, effectively.
And she doesn't just keep that knowledge to herself. That's not just stuff that she shares with us. We're following them both on social media and Instagram. And she's posting videos on, don't go with a rubbish solicitor. Like, don't trust that. And don't do these 6-month-long contracts. There's no need for it. You should be doing this. There's silly little things like that if you come to sell a house for the first time or buy a house for the first time, you wouldn't necessarily think, oh God, why am I doing that then? Well, I need to phone this person and ask. Yeah. Like she's not just keeping the knowledge to herself, they're sharing it, and they don't have to. They don't have to tell anybody that.
I'm trying to help the community because we're big on the community, so it's trying to help local people just take that little bit of extra information. I massively appreciate you coming in. Thank you very much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
I'm sure Georgina and Sarah are going to love watching it back, but no, I really appreciate it, and congratulations on the move.
Thank you very much.
Well done.